All right, first things first. Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome into Power Book Force Season 3, Episode 9, War Requiem. Really appreciate the feedback over the last couple of episodes, reviews. Hopefully, I will not disappoint on Episode 9, which is a lot to unfold. So we're just going to jump right up into this thing. We start off this episode. Tommy is at the morgue talking to the mortician about the process of JP's body. Tommy wants to make sure that JP's body is fully taken care of for the funeral. And I'm assuming that this mortician is a little bit corrupt because Tommy hands him a big wad of money and is like, I don't care about the other two bodies, which would be King Kilo and the henchman that Jenard killed in the house from the previous episode. But Tommy turns to D-Mac is like, did you want to say some final words to your father? And D-Mac is not about being emotional right now. He's more like, hey, yo, we just got to find Jenard. We need to kill Jenard. So we know what D-Mac is on at this point. We transition to Diamond. He banging out Madam Wu right now. Like, I'm like, damn. It like they didn't waste no time. My perception of Madam Wu just totally changed when I saw this scene. Cause when we first saw her a couple episodes ago, like she looked hard as hell. No bullshit tolerance. Yeah, we just see her in this scene and she's just getting her brains just blown out right now. And in the process, Jenard walks in on them finishing up. Malibu leaves and Jenard confesses to Diamond about what happened with JP and King Kilo. And Jenard comes up with the plan of King Kilo looking for D-Mac, and he ended up finding JP. And JP ended up killing King Kilo. Just a story to tell the RDs to keep them in line and not to look at Jenard and Diamond for the reason why King Kilo ends up getting murdered. And also there was in a black horse with it where, all right, we can get in bed with the Marquez cartel because Ortega, he's beefing with Tommy too as well. So it's a win-win where we end up increasing our strength by flipping to another cartel that mutually hates Tommy just like we do and get more protection from the Marquez cartel from Tommy. And when you look at Diamond, he's kind of like, I don't know, I don't know about this plan, but he's kind of just rolling with it at this point. So he's like, you know what? We just gonna see what's gonna happen. We gonna figure it out. So we flip over to another scene where they're actually having the conversation with the RDs in the basement of the barbershop. Jenard tries to sell the story that JP killed King Kilo. Jenard walked in and he ended up killing JP for retribution for King Kilo. And the RDs, I believe his name is Gray Skull. He's not really feeling this story. He's not buying it. Like you full of shit. And if you think back, Gray Skull wasn't really rocking with Jenard dating back to last season 2, because Jenard killed one of his homies and he wasn't really rocking with that. So the RD's Gray Skull wanted somewhat satisfied with them killing JP, but he wants D-Mac. And Jenard kind of puts Marshall on the spot about the whereabouts of D-Mac. Kind of Jenard serves up Marshall in this particular situation when the henchman's like, hey, yo, we need to kill D-Mac first. Where D-Mac at? And Jenard kind of like looks at Marshall like, yeah, yo, where he at? And Marshall tells him straight like, look, he moved out. I don't know where he at. They kind of put the pressure on Marshall like, yo, we need to figure out where D-Mac is, and you the only one that knows how to find him. So you need to figure that out. Jenard, it's very, very hard to hate Jenard because Jenard's approach to things is dumb, but it's funny. if that makes any sense. But pretty much he's like the Marshall, like, look, you CBI or not, like, take him out. This is what you gotta do. And Marshall like, man, I don't know if I can do it. He kind of like on the fence about it. And Jenard pretty much let him no choice there. You gotta get this done. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You gotta get it done. So we transition. Bobby and Trina Delgado discuss Ortega being released from prison, and the only lead that they had was the Marquez lawyer Chan. His whereabouts pretty much try to prevent any type of case against the Marquez for Stacy's murder. So they're in search for any leads on clearing Chan of being the killer of Stacy. So we go into the interrogation room with Singh and Vic. Singh is just trying to interrogate Vic, trying to figure out exactly what happened with Stacy. But Vic is like, man, y'all can't ping anything on me because I already know what the truth. I already got to the witness that you pretty much said that saw me kill somebody when that wasn't true. So Singh is a little bit desperate with this thing, and then Vic discovers that Singh has been compromised, like he's dirty, and he's like, you know what? He gonna try to play that to his advantage. So Vic is like, I'm gonna write a statement for you, pretty much stating that Tommy is Stacy's killer and you do with that what you want. And Singh settles for it because he cannot afford for Vic to lead into this whole situation with the possibility of Singh working for somebody and end up getting in trouble. It ends up working out for Singh because gets a witness that proves that Stacy was compromised pretty much. So Tommy approaches Big Smurf and a henchman, and he's like, look, you guys have the opportunity to flip on Jenard and Diamond and come join the venture he has going on with Shanti and Miguel. And Big Smurf is like, nah, I'm good. You might as well kill me right now. And the henchman's like, I'll take the money. I'll flip. Shoot, I'd rather do that than die. It was pretty much a test to see who would be loyal or not. And Tommy killed the other guy and left Big Smurf alive. I'm like, damn, Tommy for real, a real one. Like, gonna sit there and let Big Smurf live. So we transition to Jenard and Diamond. They go to Roberto Ortega's house, and Diamond proposes about joining the Marquez cartel. Well, it's very, very hard for Roberto to say no to that due to the fact that Diamond is bringing the whole coalition with him. But deal was, Ortega was like, you're not allowed to kill Tommy. I want to kill Tommy myself. Soon after that, Miguel calls Tommy about CBI meeting with Ortega. As Miguel's telling Tommy that over the phone, Tommy gets ambushed by the RDs. It gets pretty much saved by Che's henchman and takes out the RDs. Tommy ends up getting knocked out, and he wakes up in Miguel's, technically his torture room. And both him and Miguel are both sitting tied up in a chair. And Che basically is like, look, you guys are really not listening to me. I might as well just kill you right now. And Tommy reveals to Che that, look, you shouldn't have stopped us from trying to kill the Marquez because of the fact that CBI is moving with the Marquez cartel. And Che's like, he's mad because that's a lot of money that he's going to end up missing out on. And that's not good for business. So he pretty much gives the green light to Miguel and Tommy to move in on the Marquez and kill CBI. But Che holds Miguel as a hostage until he gets his money from Tommy for his re-up. And as they're having this discussion, Tommy's walking out of Miguel's hideout and he gets a text from D-Mac to come back home. We transition to the RDs going back into the barbershop, into the basement. And they talk about the failed attempt to get Tommy to CBI. And Diamond pretty much tells him, like, look, you guys got to stand down now because we got an agreement with the Marquez cartel about killing Tommy. And the RDs are pretty much upset about it, but they have to respect it because you're going up against a cartel. Like, that's something that you don't have those kind of problems with. But they're cool with settling with getting D-Mac, and pretty much gives Jenard and Diamond a timeline. Like, look, if you guys don't serve up D-Mac, then we're gonna be leaving this coalition, and you're gonna have another war with another crew. Next up, we have a brief scene with Vic and Ray getting on a private plane, toasting to leave Chicago, which I feel like this is not the last we're gonna see of Vic, to be honest, even though I feel like this would be a pretty poetic ending for him. Like, you finally get to leave Chicago. You get to leave scot-free and have no problems. But told you this last time, I've been done with Vic for a while. So Tommy rushes back home and is surprised Maria called Kate as he's walking into the room. And as he's having these conversations with Kate and Maria, Diamond sets a meeting with Tommy. Next scene, we have Shanti dropping off the money to Che in exchange for Miguel. And Miguel pretty much did exactly what Tommy thought he was gonna do. Like, look, Che don't like new people meeting with him, so it's not gonna look well. And Jay pretty much told him, like, look, Tommy better be with you the next time we meet. You never know what I might do to you. We go back to Marshall's apartment. Apparently he calls D-Mac. Marshall's like, look, bro, you my homie. Like, we've been boys since we were 6 years old. I need you to leave. You need to leave town. Like, they ordered me to kill you pretty much. And D-Mac is like, nah, hell nah. He ain't going nowhere. You need to tell me where Jenard is at so I can kill him. And Marshall like, nah, I can't do that. Which, to be honest with you, I can respect Marshall for doing that. He was looking out for his homeboy, but at the same time protecting his integrity of him being in CBI at the same time. So I could respect Marshall for doing that. But D-Mac was like, nah, for real, you need to tell me where he at. You gonna choose CBI over me? I'm your homie. Marshall wasn't gonna budge on it. He's like, look, you ain't gonna kill me. And then boom, D-Mac kills him. And in this moment, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I really was rocking with Marshall. Marshall was a real one, dog. Now, the last episode 8, I was like, Marshall, you ain't rocking with D-Mac to go with Tommy. I was kind of like, that's kind of rubbing me wrong. But the fact that CBI, Jenard, went up to Marshall and told Marshall, like, look, get the job done. He chose his brother over CBI, technically. But D-Mac, on the flip side, D-Mac, dog, if the Power Show writers was attempting to find somebody to hate more than freaking Tariq, because I feel like Tariq has held the title over the past couple of years, they did a great job. Because I'm at the point with D-Mac, dog, I cannot stand D-Mac. I really cannot stand D-Mac. D-Mac is very, very hot-headed and is going to end up getting himself killed. Because we can say what we want. We really can say what we want. But I feel like a lot of the problems started when D-Mac started popping off doing what he wanted to do. And that's how we end up being where we at right now. So we transition to a conversation between Maria and Kate. Kate confesses, like, look, this is hard. Like, this is my second son that I've lost, JP, and we're talking about Ghost. And Maria's like, I don't understand how you could lose a child. Like, that's got to be hard. And then Kate just puts 2 and 2 together. Oh, you're pregnant. Oh my God, this is amazing. I cannot believe this. At that point, that's when I was like, you know what, Maria, it was good. Goes back to what we talked about a couple episodes ago. Maria's really, really concerned about her child's safety based off of the examples of Kate. You know, being around the drug game doesn't do anything but end up getting you locked up or shot pretty much. And yeah, Maria's not really on board with it. Singh finally confronts Bobby and Trina Delgado about Vic's statement confirming that Stacy was compromised, and Bobby is hot. So Trina, she convinces Bobby to take a look at the Marquez lawyer Chan. Got to figure out where he's at, like figure out what he's doing so we can exclude him from any possible conviction possibilities when it comes down to arresting Tommy. So we transition to Tommy meeting with Diamond, and Diamond pretty much proposes a truce. Tommy ain't with it. He's like, look, you can say that I want Jenard, like I'm gonna kill Jenard. And Tommy's warning him, and Diamond's like, look, it's my brother. I can't just sit there and let you kill my brother. Jenard finally finds out about the Marshall death, and he is freaking hot. So Jenard sees Tommy's Mustang, and he sees Kate about to get into the Mustang, and he's literally about to kill her at gunpoint. To be honest with you, I don't even know what the point of the scene was, to be honest, because you could have just did it right there. Not that I'm saying I'm condoning it, but you could have just did it right there. I don't know what the thought process was with it, but Jenard attempts to kill Kate, and pretty much Tommy moves everyone to Miguel's hideout, including Kate. Then we get a scene with D-Mac. He is venting to Genesis, his girlfriend, about Marshall, which the way that D-Mac is telling the story, I'm just like, man, this is your fault. You had the opportunity to leave, and you done killed your homie. You done killed your day one homie. Like, again, D-Mac is starting to become one of my least favorite characters ever in this Power series. He's definitely about to take that crown from Tariq. All right, so we transition to the scene with Bobby. He's sitting at the bar where Chan is set to be going occasionally, and he's pretty much staking out Chan, and he sees Singh meeting with Chan in the back of the restaurant, putting two and two together with this. Shanti confesses to Tommy about her having the inside man, which is Raheem, as we discussed in the last episode. And Tommy's kind of confused, but D-Mac barges in on the conversation. And he's like really hot-headed and impatient about the situation. Like, you knew where he was the whole time. Like, you need to tell us right now. And Shanti like, look, you need to calm down. You need to chill, bro. Like, what is you on? Like, you just doing the most right now. This is not cool. We transition to the new hideout for Diamond and Jenard. And Diamond approaches Jenard. He's all mad about the attempt to killing Kate. And they discuss a potential snitch in CBI, giving away their location at the church. And in this conversation also, Diamond is pretty much apologizing to Jenard about his past mistakes, as far as him bringing him into CBI and choosing Tommy over Jenard and all these different things. But which I will say first, I believe how he felt is true, but also this might be a little bit of a stretch. I might be stretching it. But I feel like Diamond wanted Jenard to confess about Jenard trying to kill Diamond. If you remember, was it the last episode? Diamond, he approached Shanti, and Shanti was like, did you know about your brother wanting to plot to take CBI away from you and kill you in the process? So I think Diamond really wanted Jenard to confess that, but Jenard is like, bro, I wanted to be in CBI. Like, you shouldn't have to feel guilty about getting me involved in CBI. That was that. Quick little side scene. Kate catches Maria booking a one-way ticket to Mexico. Now, mind you, I get it. It's a TV show. We have these little bloopers here and there, but come on now. Can we do this a little bit better with the writing? How often do people freaking call the airline about booking a one-way flight somewhere? You do that shit on the internet. Come on, man. Are we serious? But we end up cutting the scene where we don't see what happens in this conversation, which I'm pretty sure we're going to get a climax to it in the season finale. We cut back to that church, and we have Raheem giving out water, pretty much poisoning the bodyguards at the church. Tommy, Miguel, Shanti, and D-Mac storm the church, and we see all-out gunfight. One thing that stuck out the most, D-Mac is going in there like freaking Saving Private Ryan, not taking any cover whatsoever, and just shooting anything. And Jenard caught him vulnerable and put a cap right into his shoulder. And in an attempt to shooting Jenard, Diamond jumps in the way and takes the bullet. You can see Tommy froze up and Jenard froze up. And it was like a little moment where it's like, damn, I just killed my friend. In Tommy's eyes, the way it looked to me. And just a little brief moment for Diamond, because it's a key character to this particular series. I fucked with Diamond. He was a real humble character throughout the series, and it could be hard when we talk about the character development from season 1, him fresh out of jail, him trying to get his feet wet back in CBI. Core character of Diamond, he really was trying to look out for his brother. That's tough, bruh. I'm gonna be honest, because I saw a video. I was on Instagram and I saw a video. I don't know if it might be a future show or whatever, but I saw a video of everybody in the video from Force, the main people, but I didn't see Isaac Keys, Diamond. I see Jenard. So I'm like, for somehow, some way, we are at this episode 9. Mark my words. I feel like Jenard is going to make it. As crazy as this sounds, I strongly think Jenard is going to make it. But that is episode 9. Oh yeah. So the rumors about this whole ghost thing, I did want to talk about this. Look, we've been going back and forth about this for like what? When did the final season of Power end? I want to say, was it 2020, 2021? So we've been having this conversation. This is January 2nd, 2026. If you're listening to this, it's been 5 years, right? And do I believe it? Look, I'm one of those type of people. I believe it when I see it. Like I'm not gonna read too much into it. That's why I really didn't want to say anything about it until it actually came, because I feel like a lot of Omari Hardwick's interviews have been so freaking drawn out when they ask him the question like, I don't want people to just regard me as this gangster, you know what I mean, for power. Like, he don't really answer the question. And it's kind of annoying, to be honest. So I try to steer away from any Omari Hardwick thing related interviews. But it definitely would be good to see him back. But I don't think it's going to happen due to the fact it doesn't make sense. Now, clearly, we're going to get Tariq in episode 10 due to the post-credit scene of what happened in the other power, the ghost, and the ghost power. So it's inevitable. Tariq is in the episode. That's a given. I can believe that. That's happening. Lock it down. But us getting Tariq and Ghost, unlikely. Maybe we'll get a flashback of a scene with him and Tommy, but I don't see any return for Ghost. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. That's episode 9, War Requiem. Let me know what you guys think. Again, Happy New Year's. You know what it is. If you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. This is the Movie Fanatics. I'm up out of here, man.